I will help you in a minute. Here, Tammy. I put your jewelry there so you don't your face not in there. Let me help you out. But you can talk. You're on. Okay, you're on audio.
Well, stitch me out.
No, audio is not same. You want to hear it. Here. Peggy.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, Tammy's joining.
Oh, Tammy.
Yeah. We're up to Perek Chaf. You want another
We're
pillow?
up to Perek Chaf,
Just
yes.
give me these pillows.
Which one?
Here's a pillow.
Okay.
Give me one on my head
There's another on your head.
and under my knees.
Leave it over there. You can hear it.
What is it, Chaf?
You want to be covered or you're comfortable?
No, cover me. Thank you.
I don't think you need this yet, but if you do, we'll put it on
She'll put it on.
later when you want to go to sleep.
Put on the cover.
Too hot for this.
So what, she's the only one on the thing?
So far, it's not 8 o'clock. She's got another 2 minutes.
Where'd you get that picture?
You put it up there, Albert.
Listen, I don't want the sound.
No, the sound is just keep talking. You don't want to be ready to do it.
Yeah.
Say. Okay, yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Harold, how are you?
Good. Were you away for Shabbos?
Yeah, we went to Avi.
Oh, how was it?
Yeah,
Rain there
nice.
too?
It was raining. Yeah.
Crazy how much rain we've had, no?
I know. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you, thank you. Did
Good.
you have a nice day today? I like your glasses.
Yeah, new glasses.
I like them.
Yeah, thanks.
Good.
Hello, Magda and Harold.
Oh, hi, Bernie.
Hey,
How's
Bernie,
Sammy
how are
doing?
you?
Hi, Magda. Hi, Harold.
Oh,
Oh,
there
hi,
you
Sammy.
are.
I hear you.
Yay. What
I
is
s-
that?
I
Harold?
see
What is
jewelry.
She's
that?
hiding behind her jewelry. You know that.
Those are earrings.
Yeah, what is that?
She has talking earrings. Never heard of talking earrings?
No, I don't have them.
One speaks English, one speaks Hungarian.
How was your day? What did you do?
We went to Yavne.
Oh, right.
First I went to the gym, which is good. And then I went to Yavne. They had a tournament. I don't know how he and a few other people for the PTA, they had a tournament, a basketball tournament, 3-on-3. So there was a ton of guys playing basketball, ton of guys. And the kids were playing and they were running around. It was cute.
You know, they raised
So-
money.
Yeah, they raised money. I don't know. I suppose they did. Yo, why is everything so small?
Oh. You.
Honey,
Yeah.
you shrunk the kids.
I'm sorry?
Honey, you shrunk the kids.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Everybody's really tiny. Okay, I mean, you're really big. You
You
come.
make me smaller.
Let's see here. Why did
I don't know
up
why
like that?
everybody.
There's a different view, but
I
let's
don't
see.
know. Recording on here?
Here you go. Participant.
Hi,
Sammy.
Barbara.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
I
Barbara.
feel like we haven't had NAVI in a long time, right?
Right.
We did it last week. No,
Sure.
No,
Last
last
week
week
was
was
Purim.
was
Oh,
Purim.
Corin,
2
right.
weeks ago.
Yeah. Bernie, how is Temmie?
She's right
I'm
there.
coming along.
Ah,
She's hiding behind her earrings.
oh, wonderful. I don't see her, so
There you go.
she's there. She's next to you.
No.
Oh, the ear.
No,
oh,
no,
behind the ear,
I'm
oh, the
laying in
earring.
bed.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Okay, great. Thank God. Okay. Baruch Hashem.
Have you gone to Reuben? Have you gone there yet?
Yeah, it's a sold out crowd every
I
every
heard,
time.
yeah.
Imagine between
Yeah.
the kids' friends and their friends.
There's 7 of
tragic.
them in the family saying Kaddish.
Oh, it's so tragic, so tragic.
It's tragic, very tragic.
We have in our shul, the Nachemson boys, St. Kaddish.
Right. Oh, my God.
Terrible.
Terrible. Terrible, terrible.
How are you, Mario?
Okay,
Good,
how are you?
good, Baruch Hashem.
Good. Cold today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, where is,
Wow. I keep thinking it's going to rain again because it's so cold.
Yeah. It said it was gonna rain, but it didn't.
No, there were dark clouds in the sky, but it didn't rain, yeah.
did you see those clouds? They were so dark. Did you just see
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now we're gonna have rain next Friday.
Yes, I see that.
Again?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
so
made
we
our
get,
gardens very
we
lush
get
and
wet when we go to shul.
Mhm.
I have to read what we're doing.
Oh, sure.
thing is 20.
Where are we? What page?
Paragraph. I think,
20,
is it Pasuk Zayin?
Yeah,
7,
yeah.
20, and then 7.
I'm sure he'll review a bit.
yeah.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
Maybe one,
The Voch,
Very
the
good.
Voch,
I get the Vol.
Good to go.
Get the Vol.
the Voch. It's not even a Get the Voch. It's not Saturday night. Oh my God.
Are the gold fingers in Israel yet?
Yes, they are.
Oh, Baruch
They've made Aliyah. Yeah,
Oh, Baruch Hashem. They should have.
That's good.
When did they arrive?
like 3 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago.
Wow, I just missed them. Oh, wow. Oh, I hope it goes well. I hope it goes smoothly for them.
Hope so too. So far, so good. So
Oh,
Where are
Baruch,
they?
oh, I'm so
In what
happy. I'll have
city?
to tell her.
In
Baruch
what
Hashem.
city are they?
They were at the Purim Suda at my son.
Oh, how nice.
Wow, how nice. So nice.
And they have grandchildren there. They have 3 grandchildren, I think. They
at least, no more.
Where-
And then some in yeshiva too.
And they're so devoted. They're really so devoted. They're helping. It's great. Okay, they should have good muzzle.
Okay.
right.
Can you do like a summary maybe?
So we're on Perek Chaf.
Yeah.
We Elio was instructed to anoint this Ben Hadad Melech Aram, who gathered a massive army with 32 kings, and they laid siege to the city of Achav in Shomron. And we talked about Ben Hadad asked Achav for gold and silver and his wives and his children. And Achav was willing. Achav saw what he was facing, a huge army, and he was going to agree to become a vassal state under Ben Hadad. And then
Bonus ranking. Should I go
Pasuk
to-
Vav, which we learned,
Put it on mute.
Ben Hadad asks Achav for something new, Machmad Einecha, for the apple of your eye, let's say. And we learned that Chazal understood that to mean that he asked for the Sifrei Torah, that we know that a Melech, Yisrael, keeps the Sefer Torah with him. He wanted all the Sifrei Torah, that Achav had. And that's where we left off. So Pasuk Zayin. Now, Achav was willing to give up the gold, the silver, his wives, his children, but he understood that by being asked to give up the Sifrei Torah, that's not something he's going to decide on his own. Vayikra Melech Yisrael l'choziknei haaretz. He asked the Chachamim, Vayomru de'una uru'u ki ra'a zeh mevakesh. Even Achav understood that they're not asking for this Sifrei Torah, that's a bad thing. Ki shalach elai l'nashai l'vanai l'kaspriv l'zavi. I was asked for my wives and my children. V'lo manati mimenu. That I did not protest in giving it up. But this I understand is something different. He's trying to humiliate us. He understands that the Sifrei Torah represents who we are. Even Achav, the idol worshiper. And in fact, Pasuk Ches, Vayomru elav kol hazkenim v'chol ha'am, al tishma v'lo tovet. Don't give in to that. Don't give in the Sefer Torah. If he's coming to war against us personally, so then we have to worry he might be victorious. But if he's coming to take our Sifrei Torah, then he's being poigei on the covet of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we have to have bitachon that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will save us in that instance. There is a famous Chazal in Sanhedrin Kuf Beis, Amrav Yochanan. Ma zacha Achav l'malchus chav beis shana. Achav was king for 22 years. And the Gemara asks, what was his merits? Mipnei shekibid Torah. Shednitna b'chav beis oisiyos. He gave honor to the Torah. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet that the Torah was written. Shenamar vayakol machmadei necha yasimu b'yarav v'lachu. And he's going to respond, lo uchal laso. And my machmadei necha lav sefer Torah. So the Gemara proves that it was the Sefer Torah. But visharti b'Yisrael shivas alofim kol abirkaim shelo kor labal. And if you remember, last time we also learned that there were 7,000 people who had not bowed down to the Baal. So this covet that Achav shows to protect the Sefer Torah is one of the merits why he was king. And we're told by the Perush Mikrei Kodesh that in fact Achav did follow the dictates of Sefer Dvarim, where he wrote himself a Sefer Torah.
Did any of the future kings of Yisrael not write a Sefer Torah in distinction to Achav?
I'm not sure, I can't answer that. It's just, again, we're going to have a discussion after Perek Chaf Aleph, where Achav leaves the stage of history. We'll have a discussion about this duality that we see in Achav. He's very evil. On the other hand, he has good qualities. So we'll have a discussion there. So whether or not other Malchei Yisrael followed that, we'll have to deal with it step by step. There's another interesting Chazal in Gemara Bracha Samech Aleph. When he said, Ko amar ben Adad kaspecha v'zavcha lihu, that I want all your money. Amar Rav, lo avri alma el la'achav ben Amri ul Rav Chanina ben Dosa. the world was created only for two people, Achav and Rab Chanina ben Dosa. La'achav ha'olam hazeh. And Rashi explains, Achav haya asher ma'od. Because of this kaspach of his avcha, he was very wealthy. Rab Chanina ben Dosa olam haba. Now, why? There were other wealthy people. Why does this chazal, like Koirach, Reich vi Koirach, right? Why does this medrash latch onto Achav? There were other Ashirim. Rabbi Yudah Nasi was an Usher. Elazar ben Azariah was an Usher. Shlomo Melech was a great Usher, even greater. Because Ein Kesef lo nechshav b'mei Shlomo l'me'uma. Money wasn't even considered anything in the time of Shlomo Melech. However, Shlomo HaMelech was a tzaddik. And even though he had a lot of wealth, he didn't derive hana from Olam Hazeh. He was always worried he's going to lose his chedek in Olam Haba. If you benefit too much in this world, you might lose some of your Olam Haba. But Achav, he didn't believe in Olam Haba. So he had a lot of hana from the Olam Hazeh that he had. So he didn't lack. That's why he's the paradigm of someone who benefits from Olam Hazeh. Vayomer Pasuk Tes. Vayomer LaMalachei Ben Hadad. So they sent back word through the messengers of Ben Hadad. Imru l'Adoni HaMelech. Kol asher shalachta l'avdecha b'rishona es. Whatever you asked initially, I will do. My money, my wives. But hadavar hazeh, giving you the Sefer Torah, lo chalaso. I cannot do that. Vayelchu HaMalachim vayeshivu davar. And they returned the news to Ben Hadad. Very interesting. If you remember, Rechavam the Melech also asked advice, but he took the advice of the children, not the Zakenim. But Achav did better. He listened to the Zakenim, who advised him not to give in the Sefer Torah. Vaishlach elav Ben Hadad. We took a shvua. Im yispoke afar Shomron l'shoalim l'chol ha'am asher b'raglai. The amount of soldiers I have with me are like the grains of sand that are in Shomron. I mean, I'm going to bring a massive army against you. Vayan Melech Yisrael vayomru dabru al yitalel choger kemefateach. The Malbim explains that Achav is saying to Ben Hadad here, you are so confident in your victory, so you're not going to prepare yourself properly. And that's itself going to cause that you're not going to win. You should have accepted my offer to be your Eved. So, Pasuk Yud Beis Vayiki Shmot Davar Hazeh. Ben Hadad hears this. V'hu shoter hu v'amlachim basukot. They're having a drinking party. He's getting drunk. Vayomer lavadav simu. He gave command to lay siege. Vayasimu la'ir. And they began the siege around the city of Shomron. And all the siege machines lay ambushes. Ben Hadad thought it was going to be very simple to destroy Achav. And therefore, he didn't even bother going. He was drunk, and he just sent his avodim. Pasuk Yud Gimel. V'hinei navi echad. A navi, his name was Michayahu. Nigash el Achav Melech Yisrael, approached Achav. Vayomer, Ko Amar Hashem. Ara'ita et kol hamona gadol hazeh, have you seen how great and big this army is? Hineni notno b'yadcha hayom, I'm going to give this army to you today. V'yadata ki ani Hashem. And you will know again, nisim from Hashem, that you'll know who the true Hashem is. You're not going to be able, by showing him how great the army is, he's pointing out that derech hateva, you're not going to be able to win this. And the Malbim explains even more, that if you think you're going to beat them through your military might, Hashem's not going to give you the nace, because you'll rely on your own kocho, on your strength, and you won't be mitzaper for Yeshua Hashem. But if once you recognize that you're not going to be able to win derech hateva, then Hashem will make the nace. Maybe this should inform us in our day too, in terms of we're also looking for victory. And this seems to be an approach that the Navi is telling Achav, at least at that time, that you have to recognize that it's not kochi v'otzem yadi, but rather it's going to be in the hands of Hashem. David HaMelech had such bitoch in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that even David, who fought derech hateva, he would still say everything's coming from Hashem, which is a very high madrega. Yudalit. Vayomer Achav b'mi. Achav asks, well, who is going to fight for us? Who shall we send? Vayomer Ko Amar Hashem b'na arei sarei medinot. Achav had captured many different countries, and they had sent officers to represent each country. These are the Sarei Medinot. And then he said, Vayomer mi yasar melchama, who will lead in battle? Vayomer ata. Achav was told you that he should lead, he should be at the head. And by the way, these officers were not military people. Again, to show a greater nace when Hashem provides victory. Why did he ask, should he himself go? He was in doubt. Usually a king does go. He recognized that he was an Oived Avodah Zarah, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do a nace. So Achav thought that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will not bring the nace if he's there. So he was told, no, you should be in the head. And the word le'asor markavto is to put the horse in front of the chariot. The Yalkut Shimoni says that he himself, Achav himself, put the horse with the chariot. And with that little schar, they were able to destroy 100,000 of the enemy. It says in Tana Devei Eliyahu that Achav lo haya ashir gadol ba'olam ka'achav melech Yisrael. 232 melachim avdu oto. 232 kings were vassal kings under Achav. So in order to keep them sort of under his rule, he brought from each one of those medinos one of these representatives, like an ambassador. They were Oivdei Avodah Zarah, but once they came to Eretz Yisrael, either in Yerushalayim or Shomron, they were Yirei Shamayim. That's what the Tana Devei Eliyahu says. And that was the schut that they won in victory. some of us were at Young Israel Bangkok Park last night. They brought a security guard who was at the Nova Festival. And he had told us he was saved. He went through a whole story how he was saved. But he had become about tshuva 2 or 3 months before October 7th. He'd start putting on tefillin, and this sort of rings the same to me. And this person was saved in the festival. And here also the Yirei Shamayim, these 232 officers, through their schus, they were able to win in the battle. Pasuk Tezva. Vayivkodet narei saram dinot. They counted these ambassadors. Vayu matayim shleim u'shloshim, 232. Now, the Navi did not tell Achav to do the next thing he did. He just told him, V'achreim pakadet kolam kol bnei Yisrael shivat alafim. Achav added to this group the 7,000 Jews who had not worshipped the Baal. Remember, we were told last week that there were 7,000 people who had not bent their knee to the Baal. And he added them to this mini army. In the time of the Jewish army, if somebody had a sin, they would be sent home from the army. The Kohen Meshuach Milchama would say, anybody who's just got married this year, go back home. Anybody who just built a house this year, go back home. Anybody who is a new vineyard, go back home. And it says anybody who was afraid because they have a sin, also go back home. So the only people who didn't go are these 7,000 because they had not worshipped Avodah Zarah. Now, Achav did this something here against what the Navi said. The Navi told him just to send the Sarim and the Dinos. He added the 7,000. It's not like that, but so Meforshim answer, it's not like he was prohibited to send them. He just said that the Na'arim should go in front. Pasuk Tetzai. Vayitzu batzarayim. They went out middle of the day. Uben Hadad shoteh shikor basukot. He's drinking. Hu avam lachim 32 melech ozerato, and the 32 kings that are helping him. They went, and the Barbanel says that Achav was confident that Hashem was going to make a nace. That's why they went in full day. They didn't go at night. They wanted everyone to see. And on the other side, Ben Hadad was also supremely confident. He's getting drunk. Someone who doesn't have a care in the world. Yud Zayin.
Excuse me, it sounds similar to the story of Eliyahu. He waited, remember, first he let those worshiping Baal until midday, till the sun was rise before he himself came up. There's something about that.
Well, no, there we said this. He waited till Shas Mincha. Remember, we went into an analysis that Mincha is the time that you can be answered tefillah the most.
Well, Ben Hadad was at his most drunk state at that time too. It's not a bad time to go fight the battle.
Correct. And the Abarbanel sees the light of day that the Bnei Yisrael were confident as well. Yud Zayin. Vayetzu narei Sarei Dinos Perishona. They went out first. Vaishlach Ben Hadad ve'agidu lemor nashim yatzu mishamron. Hadad is told, oh, there's a little army coming, there's a very small group. So he didn't care. He went back to his drinking. They didn't even look like soldiers. Wait, we learned that. Pasuk Yud Ches. Vayomerim l'shalom yatzau. So let's go out and see what's going on. If they've come to surrender, tifshot chaim, take them, don't kill them, take them alive. Then he says v'im chamayat, so also chaim tifshot. If they've come to do battle, also take them alive. Maybe like the Alshich says, to interrogate them or to torture them, not to give them a heroic death on the battlefield. Yutes, ve'ela yatsu min ha'ir, na'arei sarem dinot v'achalash achreihem. The pasuk repeats that was mentioned because there was a hefsek in terms of Ben Hadad's response, but that the Na'arim and the 7,000 after them have left the city. Pasuk Chaf, the miracle begins. Vayaku ish isho. Each Jew, as a man came against him, he killed the person from Aram who came opposite him. The one who tried to capture him alive, the Jewish soldier killed. Vayanusu Aram. And the Aram began to run away. Vayadefem Yisrael. And the Jewish army chased after them. Vaymalek ben Hadad melech Aram al sus uparashim. Ben Hadad himself got away with his horses. He was riding a horse, and there were other horse riders with him that were his entourage. Vayetzei melech Yisrael. Even though the Navi had told Achav that he should go out first, he didn't do that. After he saw that the Na'arim began to smite the Aramites, and that the beginning of the nation was beginning, so that's when Achav went out. Vayachet asus v'tarecha, and began to strike down the horses and the chariots. V'ikabara makah gdola, and a great blow fell on Aram. However, Ben Hadad himself gets away. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be saving Ben Hadad for other battles in the future. But the nation of Aram took a great blow. All of this is the schar given to Achav because he refused to give up the Sefer Torah. And others say Hashem is still trying to get Achav to be choizer l'tshuva. And through this great nace, perhaps it will impact him. Pasuk Chav Beis. Vayigash NAVI Melach Yisrael. The same Navi, Michayahu, approaches Achav. Vayomer lo lech yizchazek. Prepare yourself. There's going to be more battle. V'dau re'et asher taseh. He's encouraging him to become a Baal Tshuva. Do ma'asim toivim. Get rid of the avodah zarah. You saw today that Hashem is the true Hashem. Like it says in Tehillim, Sheker hasus l'tshua. That refers to this battle. The Navi predicts that the Melech Aram, Ben Hadad, is going to come back within a year. And so he warns Achav, do tshuva, because you're going to need it. Pasuk Chav Gimel. V'avdei melech Aram amru Allah. The servants of Aram told Ben-Hadad, Elohei Arim Eloheihem. This is not simple military victory. We are much greater than them, much stronger than them, but their God is destroying us. Al-Ken Chatzku Mimenu. That's why they were stronger. You notice Hashem is called the God of the mountains, two reasons. Number one, Shomron is built on a mountain. And some say because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the Torah on a mountain, on Har Sinai. So he's called Elokim B'Harim. Or because of the Har HaKarmel incident. So the Avodim say to him, Ulam nilcham itam b'mishorim lo nechazak mehem. Maybe we'll defeat them if we battle them in the plain. Ve'at hadavar hazeh aseh, do it. Haser hamlachim ish mimkomo. Get rid of these kings. Like we said, there were 32 kings that went along, but they don't fight hard. They're haughty. Sim pachot tachteim. Take lesser type of people. And they will risk their lives in war. And maybe their muzzle isn't good. So get rid of these kings that you went with. That's what his servants advise Aram. And appoint a huge army again. The sus kasus v'rechev b'rechev, horses, chariots. V'nilchama otam b'mishor, but we will fight them in the plain. Im lo nechzak mehem. V'yishmalu kalam v'yazke. And Ben-Hadad listened to their advice. Pasuk Chavav. V'hi l'tshuvat hashana. As the year goes by, v'yifkod Ben-Hadad et Aram. He gathers his army again. Vayal Afeka. They go to a different place. Not Shomron, Afek, which is, according to one opinion, in the territory of Achab, the Bnei Asher, right? One of the 10 tribes, Asher, because it mentions Afek when Yoshua divided up to the Bnei Asher. The Radak says, no, Afek belongs to Bnei Yehuda. There was a big plain in front of Afek. And they called on Klal Yisrael, that's where they wanted to do battle against the Achav. Now, Asa, Melech Yehuda, had established a peace treaty with Melech Aram. We learned that in Perek Tet Vav. And that's why the tribes of Yehuda allowed the army of Aram to be there. The Ralbag says Afek belonged to Aram. They took it from the Jewish people in war, yet it was still in the Gvul of Eretz Yisrael. So Chav Zayin of Bnei Yisrael had pagdu v'chal kalu. No one had died. The army was still there. And some say they prepared logistics here. Like kalkala means economy. And weapons. V'alchu likratam. And they headed towards the army of Aram. V'yachanu Bnei Yisrael negdam. Kishnei chasifei izim, like two groups of goats. The Aram milu et haaretz, and Aram is in the middle. Now, the army is just the 232 Sarei Medinos on one side, and the 7,000 on the other side. Pasuk Chav Ches. Vayigash ish Elohim. the same Navi who's been talking to Achav. Vayomer el Melech Yisrael, Vayomer, Ko Amar Hashem, Yan asher amru aram Elohei arim Hashem, v'lo Elohei amakim. Because the Aramites sort of limited God and said he's only the God of the mountains and not the God of the valleys. Another nace is going to befall Klal Yisrael. That Yeshua will always come from Hashem. There will be a great Kiddush Hashem. Maybe you thought that the first nace was just happenstance. Now you'll know for sure that it's from Hashem. Just like when the first plane struck the Twin Towers. So people thought, well, maybe it's an accident. And all of a sudden, the second plane, everyone knew exactly what was going on. Sort of same thing here. The second victory will show without doubt that this is from Hashem. Pasuk Chavtes. Vayechanu eile nochach eile shivas yomim. The two groups faced off for 7 days. It's interesting. The Bnei Aram, who had a huge army, why they didn't attack within these 7 days. So the Kilas Yaakov say that Ben Hadad waited till Shabbos. That since by fighting on Shabbos it would be considered like a sin, and therefore he would win. And just the opposite happened. We know that you're allowed to go into war on Shabbos for Milchemes Mitzvah. Any type of defensive war is considered Milchemes Mitzvah. So Vayi Bayom Hashvi, Vatikra v'Milchama, the war, the battle was joined. Vayakub Bnei Yisrael Taram 100,000 ragli b'yom echad. They struck 100,000 casualties of Aram in one day. And the Midrashim say that the only schus that Klal Yisrael had at this time was the schus of Shabbos. That it was the schus of Shabbos that saved them. Pasuk Lamed. Vayanusu anotarim afeka elair. Those that survived ran into the city Afek. Vatipola chomal 27,000 ish anotarim. The wall, Afek was a walled city. The wall fell and collapsed on 27,000 remainder. However, Ben Hadad himself, Nas, was able to run away. Vayavo la'ir cheder b'cheder. And he entered hiding in a room within a room. He went into the city before the wall fell, or the last, when it had fallen already. Now, why did they think that Afek would be a place that they could hide out? Like we said, the Rabbah said this was an Aramite city that they had captured from the Jews. So that's clearly a good shot. According to the Radak, that says Afek was in the Chelik of Yehuda. Again, there was a peace treaty between Melech Yehuda and Aram. Now, Pasuk Lamed Aleph. Vayemru elav avadav. He still had an entourage with him. Ben Hadad. Hinena shamanu ki malchei Beit Yisrael ki malchei chazanim. We have heard that the Jewish kings have mercy. Nasima nasakim b'maptenu. Let us put on clothing that appears that we're surrendering, like mourning clothing or like prisoner clothing. They used to wear sacks. The chavalim b'rosheinu, and ropes around our neck. V'neitzeh melech Yisrael, ulai chayes nafshecha. We will throw ourselves. They realize it's only Ben Hadad and a few of his entourage. They're going to throw themselves on the mercy of the Jewish kings. Now, the Navi had told Achav to kill everybody, including Ben Hadad. So, Pasuk Lamed Beis. Vayachkaru sakim b'matnehem. So they put on prisoner clothing, b'chavalim b'rosheim, and the ropes in their head. Vayavo melech Yisrael, and they faced off with Achav. Vayomru avdecha ben Hadad amar tchina nafshi. Your servant Ben Hadad has requested that his life be spared. Vayomer, so what does Achav say? Ha'odenu chai achihu. Is he still alive? I will treat him like my brother. He shouldn't be afraid. Not only will I not kill him, I'm not going to turn him into an Eved. He'll be to me like a brother. I'm not going to do anything bad to him. And by saying this, he's clearly over the Dvar Hashem that was brought to him by the Navi. Achav is full of himself now because of the victory. He wanted to show that he's merciful. Now this should remind everybody in our shiur of another Jewish king.
Shaul HaMelech.
Shaul HaMelech. Shaul HaMelech. He was commanded to kill everybody in Amalek, and he let Agag alive. And who came out of Agag? Haman. Haman Agag. Right? So sometimes too much rachamim, when it's not what Hashem wants, it provides cruelty.
Well, the Navi explicitly said it was God's wish that Agag should be killed.
So it says in the Gemara, Yuma Chav Beis Amid Beis, Yatzab, at the time when Shaul didn't kill Agag, Yatzab Baskov Amar Alti Tzadik Harbe. Don't be such a tzaddik. Uveshasha Amar Shaul Doeg, Sovata Ufka B'Kohanim. Shaul told Doeg, go to Nov and do something to the Kohanim. Yatsa Baskal Varmelo Altir Shaharbe. Don't be such a Rasha. To be merciful, it has to be Al Pia Torah. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to destroy Amalek, saving them is not Rachmanus, it's cruelty, because it's against the word of Hashem. We see it because if Shaul was really a compassionate person, why would he allow Doeg to kill out the Kohanim of Nov? We see that it wasn't really in his nature. Similar here, say the Meforshim, this was not the time for Agav to have Rachmanis on Ben Hadad. It was against the Tzivu Hashem. And we see later on that Achav was not compassionate. We'll see it by Navota Israeli. We'll see what he did to the Ish Elokim. So we see that this, it's misplaced compassion and mercy. Pasuk Lamed Gimel. Ve'anashim yinachashu vayimaharu vayachlutu amimenu. Once they heard, the servants of Ben Hadad, that Achav called Ben Hadad his brother, Nichush comes from like a siman tov. We're not allowed to be menachesh. You can't, if a black cat walks in front of you, or don't walk under a ladder, all those things are being menachesh. They saw it as a siman tov. And they wanted to sort of certify it. Vayomru achicha ben Hadad. Vayomer bo kachuhu. Vayitzel ben Hadad vayaleu al merkava. And Achav they told Ben Hadad that Achav had called him his brother, and Achav said, go bring him. Now, Aram had taken cities from Omri, Achav's father. So those cities that my father took, Ashif, I'm going to return to you. I'm going to allow you to build marketplaces in Damascus. Kasher Sama Vibisham, like my father built markets in Shomron. This was for commerce. Vani babrit ashalechachan, we'll have a covenant. Vaichrot lo brit vaishalchei. So the markets that are put in Damascus for Achav, those taxes would go to him. He was giving him financial benefits from winning the war. However, Achav says, I don't want the cities, I don't want the markets, I just want a covenant of peace. In the end, Ben Hadad, the Malbim says, then didn't return the cities. And it was a problem down the road for Klal Yisrael. Again, showing that having too much mercy on the Rishonim doesn't lead to anything good. In the end, it led to war. It's like the Sinwar. We had him in our prison once. We released him. Same story. If you don't take care of your enemies when you're supposed to, they'll come back to haunt you. Lamed Hey. So now, the Bnei Nevi'im are the Talmidim of Nevi'im. The Navi we're talking about, again, is Michayo. And he said to another one of his fellow Nevi'im, Hakenina, strike me. Vayima'ena ish la'koso. The Navi now is trying to show a mashal to Achav. And this was performed in front of the Melech. That's how the Radak learns. Hakazu aya mashal al-Achav. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm going to give you this whole army to you, Achav. And now the Navi asked this person to strike him, and the guy refused. Say, that's Achav refusing to strike Ben Hadad. And he's being over al pi Hashem. He saw that any stragglers who hadn't been killed off by the Jews ran into Afek, and Hashem killed them there too. The only reason he kept Ben Hadad alive was to test Achav, and he failed the test. And the mercy on the Rishonim is really cruelty. In the end, Ben Hadad's going to come back and do war again. The Navi did this act publicly to show the people that Achav had not done correct by keeping Ben Hadad alive. And that he was over the Dvar, Hashem. Now, you're not allowed to strike somebody. It says you're not allowed to strike a fellow Jew. So how could the Navi go against the Torah? So a Navi Muhsek can, just like Eliyahu and Har Carmel, B'Hirah in a unique violation of the law, you listen to the Navi. Same thing here, it was a Hirash. The guy was supposed to strike him, was supposed to listen to him. Just like Yitzchak listened to Avram by the Akedah, it's the same thing. Pasuk Lamed Vav. Vayomer lo yana shelo shamata b'kol Hashem. Because Achab didn't listen to the voice of Hashem. Incha olech me'iti. Oh, I'm sorry. This is now the Navi Michayot telling the person who he had told him to strike him, who didn't strike him, because you didn't listen to me, I'm the Kol Hashem, I'm the Navi. Hincha olech me'iti, you're going to leave me. V'hicha aryin, and a lion is going to strike you. Vayelech metzlo v'imsei arya v'yakeu. And this Bnei Nevi'im, who didn't listen to Micha to strike him, he was over the words of the Navi. He's Chayv Misa. This is the second time we saw a lion, right? Ido Navi before. In Perek Yud Gimel, we have the same story. Now, why, when you don't listen to a Navi, do you get eaten by a lion? Because it says in Amos, Aryeh Sha'ad mi lo yirah. The lion roars, who will not be afraid? Adushem Elokim diber mi lo yinabeh. So it's a special yichus, a lion who doesn't listen to the nevuah. Lamed Zayin. Vayimtzai ish acher. So the Navi found another person. Vayomer hakeni not. So now they learned their lesson. Vayakel ish hakal uptzah. And he drew a drop of blood from Michayo. Why is that important? It says the Yerushalmi, it was a kapor for Klal Yisrael, that they didn't die. Later on, we're going to have a big battle in Ramot Gilad, and the Klal Yisrael themselves did not, because this little blood that was drawn by this hakah is a kapora. When the tzaddikim suffer, it's a kapor for the klal. A Navi is like, he represents the whole klal. He's like the Rosh Ha'am. He's like the whole nation. Therefore, it was a kapor for them. The Navi finds Achav on the road by Tchapes by Ifar Leinav. He hid himself with dirt or with clothing so he wouldn't be recognized. He put a kerchief over his face. He wants to give another warning to the king. As the Melech is passing by, the Navi yells out to him, I was a soldier in the war. Vine ish sar, another soldier came, and brought me a prisoner. Vayomer shmor ta'ish said, watch this prisoner. Imi pakedi paked. If he runs away, your life is on the line if he escapes, or you will owe a great deal of money. And this was sort of the same marshal to Achav. You were supposed to keep Ben Hadad prisoner and then eventually kill him. So Pasuk Mem Vayavdecha Oseina Ve'ena Vu'einenu. I got busy and I lost the prisoner. What should be my din? Vayomer Elav Melech Yisrael Pein Mishpatecha Ata Charatzta. You deserve either to be killed or to pay the great deal of money. How come here he wasn't merciful like he was Ben Hadad? This is the Meforshim point out. Here is where we see Achav's true nature. So Vayimaher, the Navi Vayosar Sefer removes the disguise from his face. Me'aleina Vayakerato Melech Yisrael ki me'anaviimu. He sees that he's the Navi. Vayomer elav Kama Hashem. Yan shilachta et ish chermi miyad. Because you let Ben Hadad go, you're going to pay the ultimate price. You, Achav, will be killed because of it. The Klal Yisrael will be saved, as we said, because of the tipas dam that arose from the Navi when he was struck by the Navi that he told him to strike him. So very interesting allusions in this perek, back and forth, messages to Achav. Again, we see a tremendous duality Oh, did we not finish the last pasuk? I'm sorry. Yeah. Vayelech Yisrael beito sar v'za'ev. Achav went back to his home upset. Vayavo Shomrona. He was rebuked by the Navi. You would have thought after all of this, Achav would have confessed, done tshuva, but was not successful in converting Achav to be a Baal tshuva. Okay, and we'll have the conclusion of the story of Achav HaMelech in next week's parak. Questions, comments, Ha'arot wrote.
I'm just curious, in Moby Dick, they used the term Ahab.
Yes.
Well, I forgot Moby Dick, but is there some relationship with Ahab and this Ahab?
No, I think Herman Melville must have known his Bible.
Yeah.
It's clear from the story, even if you read, even without Torah Shabbat Peh,
Yeah.
Achav is wicked. Ahab, right? Ahab, what kind of character was he? He's really the character who is on a mission, like a crazy mission.
Crazy mission, yeah.
Crazy mission. He will follow, kill the white whale.
Yeah.
Why did he name him Achav? It's a good question. Is Ahab supposed to be a wicked and evil person? I'm not sure.
I could
It
think.
starts off, call me Ishmael. The whole book starts off. The first line is called, yeah, so also another bad person, Yishmael. Just popped in my head.
Well, if you read the Nach by the Gentiles, does Yishmael come off as a bad character?
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
a pretty benign story. He's 13 years old. He's chased out of the home. There are a few psukim
He's
that
the victim. I think he's one of the victim.
He looks as a victim.
Exactly. And
Let me check. I have my King
even
James version here. Let me go check.
right.
How
Even
about the Hamas version?
even Esav, if you read Esav, if you read it as a story,
Yeah,
Chazal tell us that Esav is a Russia. You don't see it that much in the plain text of the verses.
Interesting. Yeah.
But the question of why Melville, listen, I'm sure the critics, the ones who analyze this might comment. It's a good question.
I'll look up. Make a homework assignment. I'll do it myself. Talk to you next
Have a
week.
good week, everybody.
Thank you.